Passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with.
On to the prelims. We got that boy Brad Tavares. I believe he's ranked 14th in the division versus Dricus Du Plessis, a rising prospect with a kickboxing background, and he wrestles pretty damn good. He averages like 3 takedowns a fight. Tavares has been in the UFC since 2010. He's tied for the most UFC decision wins, which is kind of odd because at middleweight you don't see a lot of decisions. So like a lot of people call him a boring fighter because of that. But I will say in his defense, Brad Tavares, his losses are to people who are like legitimate fighters. Like when he fights people, like he fought Israel Adesanya. People knew he wasn't going to win that one. He fought Robert Whittaker. People knew he wasn't going to win that one. He fought Yoel Romero. People knew he wasn't going to win that one. But then he fights anybody else that's not ranked or something. And he, like, if you're not a rising star or anything like that, he usually beats you.
Oh, he's one of those dudes. I can relate to him. I was
a good gatekeeper. He's a good gatekeeper.
I can relate to that. In high school, I used to always I would always beat the people I was supposed to be. It was the motherfuckers that niggas was like, dang, Kevin, it's gonna be a close one. I was just like, oh, for real? All right, let's go tank. But motherfucking, so yeah, I'd be like that sometimes. It's just like, I think that's a mental thing, really.
Yeah, but the odds do show you this is a close fight. Du Plessis is the favorite, minus 150. Yeah. Tavares is plus 130. But honestly, those odds are so close, it's almost like a pick 'em.
I'm taking Du Plessis, but I'm mad because I was hoping that he'd be an underdog. Tell me more about Du Plessis.
Du Plessis opened. He opened as an underdog, and then all of a sudden the bettors came in and they were backing Du Plessis. And Du Plessis, he's a kickboxer. I'm trying to think of like someone I can compare him to because he's not like a Gamrot or anybody like that. He doesn't wrestle first. He does lean on his kickboxing abilities.
I like kickboxing.
And like he throws a lot. He has power. He does overwhelm a lot of people. He mixes into takedowns nice. And what I like about him is on his 16 wins, is 16 finishes. And like we talked about that with Rachmanov. Like you don't see a lot of fighters, all their wins come from them finishing people. And I want to say he had like 8 submissions and like 7 knockouts. So he's mixing it in real well on both sides of the
intimidating.
Yeah, so that's Du Plessis. He kind of has like I think he has a good future ahead of him. I don't think he's ever going to be a world beater, but he is going to be a solid fighter in this division for a while. Whereas Tavares, he's more of he's like a Swiss Army knife. He's not bad at anything, but if you're really good at something, you're going to overwhelm him in that.
Hey, man, Du Plessis all the way, man.
Yeah, man. After I heard that kickboxing shit finishes, come on, Du Plessis.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock with the boy from South Africa. I think we're all riding Du Plessis.
Oh, he's from South Africa?
Yeah, but he's one of the white South Africa. Like he's South Africa.
He's from the other side of South Africa. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, my dog. You know how I mess with them Africans. Cambo. Hey, all my Nigerians stand up. This is y'all day today.
I know a white South Africa. I
know a couple too. Actually, I know like 2 or 3.
My church has a sister church in South Africa. No, I'm lying. Yeah, in Burkina Faso, which might be in South Africa, which is close to South Africa.
Let's see. Then we got this is another prelim fight. I think this is the one that like you have to watch. You got Ian Gary versus Gabe Green. Ian Gary, a lot of people consider him Conor McGregor 2.0 because he models He models his game after Conor McGregor. He won Cage Warriors welterweight belt before coming to the UFC, just like Conor McGregor won the lightweight, the featherweight belt in Cage Warriors. He had over 300 boxing fights. He's been boxing since the age of 10. He saw Conor McGregor was champion, and he started working on his ground game. So then he went out and got a black belt in judo, so he can be just like Conor. And that boy really has like he's Irish. He literally is like that's his idol. He's not as good on the mic as him. He does have his own personality. He's very like good on the mic in his own right. But Ian Gary his nickname is the future for the reason, for a good reason. And Gabe Green, can't say this enough. This is his, like, Gabe Green is another solid prospect. He came in short-term notice, got a fucking KO. Then he fights Lionessy on the last fight. He gets sent to Lionessy, hits him with a right hand down the middle that sends him to the shadow round. And people think he's out. He fucking somehow survives, gets off the ground, gets back to his feet, fights through it, and then knocks the boy out in the second round. And like, people, like, he shows that he has the will, he has a chin, he has heavy ass hands, and he throws a lot of volume. So this is gonna be a great fight between, like, if Ian Gary is this legitimate top 10 prospect that people comparing him to Rock. This is the same division, Rachmanov and Chimaev. So those are the other two super prospects in this division that just came out this past year, put on a show. Is Ian Gary going to do the same? Because he has that same hype on his name.
Bro, that division is so fucking deep. God damn.
Man, that shit sound deep as hell. What the?
Weight just gets every time we bring up the welterweight division, it just sounds like it got deeper. Like, I don't know how, but it just be getting deeper. I'd be like, damn, am I sure lightweight is? Am I sure I want to stand my more lightweight? Am I light? What's 135?
Bantam.
Am I light in bantamweight, or do I just want to admit that, like, the best fighters in the world are low key might all weigh 170? Maybe I should go up to 170 myself.
Challenge them.
But nah, man, I'm not gonna lie. We covered Ian Gary before, and I got some no regular, no need for it, no pause. But I got that Ian Gary fever. I don't think he's like a Conor McGregor type. I hope he doesn't like feel like you gotta match Conor or whatever. Cause like I feel like Conor was just one of a kind. Like every time you compare Conor to everybody else in the world, motherfucking these boys is dangerous. So like I fuck with Ian Gary, and I think
Damn.
I got the press conference going in my ear, and like Sean Strickland and Izzy are snapping right now. I had to take them out my ear. I was like, God damn, bro, you really finna slap the shit out of the nigga? Like, that's the next fight. But back to Ian Gary though. I just liked how he can brawl. I think he's dangerous. And like, bro's cold. I want to see him continue to go, but I just think that division is probably not the best to go to, because like it sounds like they got some kings and warriors just keep coming through there that you're just not gonna be able to do nothing with. But he's cold, man.
Yeah, and to put the perspective, his last two fights, he was like minus 400 favorite. Against Gabe Green, he is minus 175, and Gabe Green's plus 150. So the odds are very close to like show that this is going to be a real test. This isn't just like another fill-in fight to get the brand.
Bro.
Gary all day. Fuck that. After you just gassed him up, said he's been boxing since he was a kid. Seeing McGregor fight, that's crazy. But I hope he puts on. Does McGregor co-sign for him?
I think McGregor comes because he comes from Ireland. So, and you know, there's not many fighters from Ireland. Like they're comparing Paddy to McGregor, and Paddy's from Liverpool, and like, and that's not even the same country. It's just in the same general vicinity. So it's just like there's not many fighters from that area. So I think Conor supports him because Conor was always big on his boy Artem Lobov, who was like another like European fighter. Like Conor supports his Euros.
Right, his Euros.
I respect it.
Unless he's fighting them.
I hope put on a little show, man. That's crazy. The two prospects, though.
I like how we refer to Conor by his first name. Like, there's just certain people that you just call their first name.
Oh, especially on an MMA boxing podcast. If you don't know the name Conor by itself, that's on you, because there hasn't been many great Conors.
And
but can we take a second though? Paul, did you watch this press conference?
I have not. I know that they got a little heated. I know that there's been some moments.
Bro, I'm 23 minutes in. I was playing it in my ear the entire time. And if you've noticed, there are points in times where I just get really quiet and I keep looking this way. Because Max Holloway came in with all the smoke. Immediately, he said, niggas is talking 3-0. Bro, you don't even got 3 highlights. And you know, Volky's the coolest person ever, nicest guy in the UFC. Maybe in the whole Oceania region. I'll find out myself. But motherfucking, he's just in there like, whoa, Max came to play today. Okay. And then next thing you know, I see motherfucking and this nigga Max later talking about some man. He's just talking that shit, and then Volky's like, "Okay, man, don't worry about it. That's the bit of Saturday night. We're gonna see Saturday." Max is just coming at him, just hot. You just don't worry, going 2-0. I'll turn it to 3-0. Man, fuck, like these motherfuckers is beefing. Motherfucking Sean Strickland just tried the whole crowd. He's literally pointing motherfuckers out. He's like, bro, I live a simple life. I can't go outside because look at that fat motherfucker in the hat. I'd catch a murder charge if I seen, bro.
I'm
like,
telling you, Sean Strickland is a fucking dog.
Bro, motherfucking Jared Cannonier came in a fucking do-rag. Motherfucking
definitely gonna have to peep this press conference now.
This shit is I'm 23 minutes in and Izzy and Sean Strickland are beefing right now.
I tell you, Sean Strickland didn't want to be there. He was talking about Disney and the higher entities are forcing me to go so I can cancel myself and what I say.
That boy bringing smoke. That's why. Like that boy went crazy, pointing out fat people in the crowd.
I mean, I think I know why. Max Holloway brought that energy because literally like 2 days ago, Volkanovski said in an not interview, but like a little question at the UFC pre things and like shit like that. And he said, because they're talking about, oh, Max Holloway has a striking records. He has the most landed significant strikes and most landed strikes of all time. How's it feel to be going up against such a great striker? And then he was like, when they talk, and Volkanovski said it, I quote, when they talk about him having the most significant strikes thrown, I think he has broken the record for the most absorbed. People got to remember that shit. That's like the worst. That's not a record you want.
That's what he said. He says, motherfucking, Max was like, I fucking hand out damage. I'm the person that absorbs damage and hands out damage. I'm the person that absorbs damage. He doesn't give damage. What do you think's gonna fucking happen? That's what he said.
So yeah, like I can see why Holloway, because Holloway hasn't said much coming into it and like at all about Volkanovski. So then I was shocked because they always give each other class and respect. So when Volkanovski said that little snippet, I was like, that's a little different Volkanovski than what I'm used to seeing. He wouldn't even take this 10-second time to even like take a little shot like that.
Nah, and look, Izzy caught the fucking vibe, bro. Jared Cannonier was talking. You know Jared Cannonier. He's I think it's gonna be what makes you think you can beat Izzy? Well, first off, he goes, what was the first part of your question? What makes you think you can beat Izzy? Self-belief. I just think that it's dumb, retarded, stupid. I'm only expecting to excel, blah blah blah. And then Izzy goes, bro, next time just keep it short. And then Jared Cannonier's trying to keep it. Jared Cannonier's trying to pretend like he doesn't. And I'm done. And I don't listen to the bullshit. I just continue to fight. I continue to train. He goes, all right. Like, bro, I'm like, God, yeah, Izzy came with the smoke too. Him and Sean Strickland are going back and forth right now. Nick Sean Strickland's talking about who the fuck would want him as a champion? Izzy, do something about it. And I haven't heard nobody get called a bitch yet, but it's coming. It's coming.
No, that's a good. I haven't seen an actual personal press conference in a minute. It has been
since
Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington. That was the last personal press conference.
And everybody's out here. It's like just like the old ones, but everybody. This shit is lit. I had to pause it because I wouldn't be able to pay attention.
Shit. Well, we kind of just hit on a little bit. Stay tuned because the Sean Strickland fight and the Izzy fight's coming out real soon. And the Volkanovski Holloway. So let's breeze through these last couple of prelim fights. Make this actually like kind of the blowout block of the UFC. We got Donald Cowboy Cerrone, fill-in fighter, versus Jim Miller at 155. This might be Cowboy's retirement fight. So
it should be.
It should be. And let's see. If you don't know Cowboy's resume, let me tell you real quick. I broke it down a couple times.
I was gonna say it's like a third time, maybe fourth. God damn.
He has, and I think this is actually the first time Marcus is here for a Cowboy fight. So Cerrone, most post-fight bonuses in UFC history with 18, tied most wins in UFC with 23. And the funny thing is, he's tied with the person he's fighting with 23 wins. So whoever wins here will have the most wins in UFC history with 24. Second most finishes in UFC history with 16. Third most fights in UFC history with 37. And most knockdowns in UFC. He is also 0-5 in his last 5.
My dog.
Connor was on the way of that. But I will say Jim Miller is on a 3-fight win streak. This will be his 40th fight in UFC. I think he has the most fights in UFC. He started back in 2008.
God.
Damn.
So yeah, Cowboy is like the OG, and then Jim Miller is the OG's OG.
Oh geez, oh gee, that's crazy. What the fuck?
And they fought one
times-
time before in 2014, and Cowboy got the TKO second round victory, and it was the headline fight. These boys have seen multiple headline fights in their career.
UFC pay-per-views did they have in 2008?
How y'all feeling about this fight? Is anyone going? Is that 155? Cowboy has fought at 170 and 155 in his career. Jim Miller has fought at 155 his whole career.
I'm going Cowboy.
You're riding the Cowboy. Is it just because that's your boy, or?
Nah, I think he's serious this time, man. Boy, been trying to fight for a minute now.
That's true. This is his third attempt in like 5 months.
Yeah, so maybe he's been training hard. I think he's gonna come out with a good performance, and maybe who knows, might be his last dub, especially if he gets the win. Come out, get the record 2-24. You beat the guy with the other, you tied with. That'd be a pretty cool way to end it.
I would, but too bad. I think Jim Miller's gonna get this dub. And it's for the same exact reason why I picked Joe Lozon against Cowboy. When Cowboy fought in his prime at 155, he had a hard time to make the weight.
Damn.
So now that he's older, trying to make 155, that don't get any easier. He made 155 2 weeks ago, and now he has to cut weight again to get back to one. That's not going to be good on his body at 40 years old. Jim Miller has won the last 2 fights that he's had. Cowboy Cerrone hasn't fought since like 2019. I think that's all the stars are lining up. Like, this is Jim Miller's weight class. He actually looked decent. Hasn't looked good. He looked decent in his last 2 fights to get wins. Whereas Cowboy, I haven't seen him in 2 years, and this isn't his weight. Like, he's 40 years old, having to cut weight within 2 weeks of each other. That don't sound good to me.
Jim Miller started the UFC in 2008. Paul, we have a Friday night fight. Paul and Marcus, we have a Friday night fight club show because every week they have a fucking event. In 2008, they only had 13 pay-per-views.
Oh, I believe it, bro. I think Brock Lesnar was on the cards back then too.
That's fucking insane to imagine just being there for the entire. This is the 16th year of the UFC's history back in 2008. But to be there to watch it grow into what it's done and just be a part of it and just continue to that's like, he's like Vince Carter to me, bro. You done pretty much fought in 4 different generations, kid. Like,
Dana White had hair when he started.
That's crazy. Like, I'm rooting for Jim Miller. I want to see him make history right now. Is he a surefire Hall of Famer? Let me know.
I think he's just because when you have those accolades, he's kind of like those. I think Vince Carter's a good representation because, like, in his prime, he was probably a top 10 fighter, top 8 fighter in that division, never a championship contender. But he has so many accolades where he might only have like 4 or 5 all-star appearances out of a 25-year career. But just since you have all those records, you're going to go.
I got a question. All right, so you're saying with all the records, can they make it to the UFC Hall of Fame with no belt?
I think so. Also, you also got to think
Tony Ferguson.
The UFC had Tony Ferguson, but the UFC has also only really been around since 2000. It doesn't have the rich history of like 80-year Hall of Fame where you have people of decades in the 70s and stuff. It's like if you did something in 2005, like look at like Tito Ortiz. If you really look back at his record, he doesn't have this. Like, he has great wins in his prime, but he had a lot of losses after his prime. But no one holds that against him. No, it's just like, we haven't been around for long. Like, we can't really compare resumes like we do. Like, literally, we think Khabib's the GOAT. We think GSP's the GOAT. We think these people are the GOAT, and they literally retired like less than 5 years ago.
GSP, bro. I watched one of those documentaries.
Anderson Silva. Like, these people all retired in the last like 7 years. So it's like
McGregor.
It's such a new Hall of Fame. Whereas, like, as long as you did something to move the sport, as long as you was a big name during the sport, I think Jim Miller has like 8 to 9 pay-per-views on his name alone. So, like, yeah, he's going Hall of Fame.
I like it. I'm rocking with Jimmy, man.
Jimmy.
Fuck
And
Jimmy.
our
Cowboy.
last fight of the prelims, I hit on this fight a little earlier. I said this might be a low-key fight of the night. Brad Riddell versus Jalen Turner. And this is Jalen Turner's first ranked opponent in lightweight. Brad Riddell's ranked 14th. And Jalen Turner has been destroying all the competition up to this point. So it's like finally we get to see him against somebody who's actually somebody. Brad Riddell, great striker, especially on the inside. Former Muay Thai coach. He's 4-1 in the UFC. His one loss is to Rafael Fasiv, and who's fucking a dog. He's like people think, Fasiv a lot of people think he might be a future champion. Like he is a fucking dog. And so that's his one loss. So I'm okay with that one loss. And then Jalen Turner on the other side, like I said, we haven't seen him fight anybody for real, but he's like 6'3" or 6'4" in the lightweight division, where everyone else is like Brad Riddell's 5'7", to put into perspective. And this guy's 6'3". Like he is so long for this division, so big and tall. Like he's almost, I would compare him to like a Fundora of boxing. Like he's just
what is that?
Lightweight.
Yeah, what's lightweight? Because I
like
get
Dustin Poirier.
I get confused because UFC they call it different names than like what
lightweight is 155, and he's
so they're the dudes that just main evented the last one. Weren't they lightweights?
Yes, and they were like 5'11", 5'10", and they were both considered pretty big size for the division. He's 6'3". He's 6'3" at 155. Brad Riddell's 5'7", to show the difference in height. So we got Jalen Turner, who I think he's kind of like Izzy, kind of similar, where he likes to fight from the outside because he has this crazy reach advantage on people, and he has he's so tall. Whereas Jalen Turner, if you know anything about Muay Thai and you're good at Muay Thai and you're good, you can get inside. You know the angles, you know how to fucking take a punch to get inside and give your own punch. So this stylistically, I think, makes a great fight. Like Jalen Turner gets his first real test in this lightweight division, and I think it's gonna be a lot of stand up because they're both decent wrestlers, but they both only use wrestling when they have to. And I think it's gonna be like a pride type fight, like a who's the better striker standing type shit.
That's crazy.
It's gonna be a sleeper. Now that you put it like that. They got like similar styles. That shit gonna be lit.
Yeah, and like I said, Brad Riddell's 4-1 in his UFC. So like, and that one loss is to Perceive, and he's a dog. So like, Jalen Turner's another prospect who's basically walked through the competition. So we now get to see him against a real. And like you said, Kev, lightweight is so deep. Jalen Turner, the fucking his nickname is the Tarantula. The 8 arms, because he's so fast and so long, it feels like you find somebody with 8 arms. So like that boy's like that.
That might have just sold me right there because I was kind of torn on this one. I was like, dang, I wish I watched some film on these boys. But yeah, I think I might have to take because I like the outside fight. You know, it's long reach motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? We like the outside. You feel me? So like, I'm gonna rock with Turner on this one.
I'm gonna give my pick. I think I'm gonna go with Riddell just because I think Turner, he's only fought people he knows he could beat. And maybe he's looking at Riddell like, oh, you're 5'7", you're just another small fighter that I've seen. I'm just gonna beat you from the outside. And then Riddell's Muay Thai, especially like he wasn't just a fighter, like he was a trainer. He was somebody you hired as a UFC fighter to teach you Muay Thai. So like that's how good of a Muay Thai fighter he is. And like I think he's going to be able to get on the inside, make this fight dirty and a lot closer. Like maybe he loses, but I think this fight's going to be really close. And like the decision is going to go to Riddell off of just like the cleaner shots and stuff.
Nah, bro, I'm looking forward to it, man. This is going to be a good one.
What about you, got, Mark?
Marcus, who you got?
Hey,
last prelim fight.
Yeah, don't miss it, man.
Riddell, man, because
right.
Yeah, man, that
boy play football. Riddell.
Nah, man, that Muay Thai shit, bro. I fucking love that shit. And he's a fucking coach. I love I used to be asleep on Muay Thai back in the day, but ever since we started this, man, I've been watching more of that shit, bro. That is a deadly, and
they're real warriors. Like I don't think I've ever seen someone quit in Muay Thai. I don't think that's an actual option to quit.
So skillful in Muay Thai, bro. To do Muay Thai, you got to be really skilled, man. Like that shit is different, and the way their stances and like
The fucking knee up with the like your knee and elbow touching.
they be like, I don't know, man. They be on some shit, bro. I fucking love watching that shit. No cap, bro. But I think it's gonna be a war, and I feel like it's gonna be a tough test, like you said, and maybe he is sleeping on him a little bit. So I'm gonna rock with the coach.
And look at like Jalen Turner, American, that boy, an all-American bloodline. Riddell, that boy from New Zealand, just like our main eventer.
Woo!
That boy, the New Zealand flag is roaming high with Volkanovski and Izzy. So I think Riddell is gonna show out just because his countrymen are on the same card.
Hey, how you spell Muay Thai?
How do you spell what?
Muay Thai.
MUAYTHAI. Similar. If that's wrong, autocorrect will correct you.
I'm not even mad that I couldn't spell that because that's not even English.
But that finished the early end of prelims. This is we've never gone that hard in this, so that should let you know how deep of a card this is. So let's talk this.
Got a problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting.